Hi all, it's Kylie from Kylie's Card Craft. Thanks for joining me again today. I want to make a little, now I came up with perfect wording for it a while ago, and now it's gone. Little tag flip book. That wasn't what I came up with, but that'll do. For me, this sort of little book would go in a belly band, and I could slide it in either that way or arrange one down that way. Or it would be beautiful as Happy Mail, as a little gift for somebody. It's so easy to make. So I've just got my closure here, which runs underneath this. When I undo it, it's just a little, literally a little tag book. So all these little tags go in. Okay, now you could make this any size you want. I haven't decorated these tags yet. They're just sitting in there. Each one is plain on the other side, and I've got journaling on each side of this. Okay, I also have a pocket at the back and a little pocket at the front. The back I've left plain because, as I said, it could be, you could decorate it up, give it to somebody in Happy Mail, or it could just, as I said, for me, I would just slide it in a belly band. But it's just such a little simple thing, and each one of my inserts, these little tag inserts, I've decorated from my scrap box. It was a great way to get through everything, a very tiny amount from my scrap box. Yes, I've used some coffee dyed paper, because let's face it, what do I do that's not got coffee dyed paper in it? But I've had this range of paper sitting here. It's a Marja design scrapbook paper, so it's 12 by 12. Had it sitting here for ages, really wanted to do something with it, so picked it up and decided to do it with that, with just one of the sheets. Going to do another one now with one of the other sheets. But what I also thought, my little bits in here, and if I bring them closer, don't know if you can see that. See how they've got a little bit of a fine grain on them? If I hold that, there you go. What that is some calligraphy paper. So it's specialty calligraphy paper. It says for practicing. I don't do it for calligraphy because I can't practice. I can't do calligraphy. It stamps quite well, different inks. So these ones tend to bleed a little bit. But what it is slightly ridged on one side and slightly shiny on the other. But it's really, really light. So that's what I used for my initial one. Let's face it, I've got a pile there and I wanted to use it. But whilst making this one, I had a thought, because I'm on this vellum run at the moment, that I'd like to make these using vellum. So that's what we're going to do today. It is such an easy little book. It's sewn in with just a 3-hole pamphlet stitch. You could just put a split pin through them if you wanted to hold it in. Anything you like. You could put as much decoration or as little decoration. Each one of these could have little pockets in them as well. It's just never ending. So what we're going to need if you're going to do this size. So my finished little book is 3.5 inches by 5 inches. So you'll need a piece of paper, a piece of cardstock or a piece of paper, something with a little bit of oomph in it to hold it, that is 3.5 inches by 10 inches in length. This time I want to do a little it's a eggplant, purple, that sort of thing. So this is my front cover with this one. This will be my inside. Now on this one, your little barcode strip, description strip with this range. I'll just show you this range. This range is just beautiful. Look at that. Isn't that just the most beautiful, beautiful paper? So And everything on the other side is plain enough that you can still write on it, which is why I like these ones for my journal. So that's from the other one that I made. Little bits and pieces. I've also got that one, which has this beautiful green on the other side. But for the majority of times, what they have, and I'll just pull that aside. Don't think I need that. I've already cut that one. I want to use this one, of course. Is they have the most beautiful barcode strips. I love these. So this purple one had that. Isn't that just beautiful? So that's what I plan to put on the inside of my pockets. That one just has this lovely border. So they're just a beautiful paper. As I said before, it's Marja Design. Came out this year, 2021. Tropical Garden was the range that it was from. Each one had a different name. So, you know, you've got Die Cuts one, you've got Oasis, Subtropical, but Tropical Garden was the range, or still is even, is the range. Right, I'll just set this one to the side. So starting with our piece that we want as our front cover. As I said before, 3.5 inches by 10 inches. We want to fold this one in half. And because I'm using vellum, I'm going to use the scoreboard, so I might as well pull it out for this one. So our halfway point is 5 inches. So I'm just going to sit that there because I've already cut it to our 10 inches. I better bring that down so you can see. So straight down at our 5-inch mark. Fold that over. So that will be the finish size of my little album. So I'll just give that a burnish across there. That's this one as is. Going to put a couple of little pockets in here, which we'll do now. And then I can sit that aside because we can't do the front decoration bit till we've sewn them in. But I can put these pockets in now. What I want from my pockets is this one, which is the brown version of that. But I want it on this side. Because what I'm going to do is adhere my pockets. I'll cut them at the right size. I don't want them to go right into that fold because it's going to have enough going on as it is anyway. So if I set that up to about there, so I'm leaving it, you know, 1/8 of an inch, I suppose. And the same on the other side, round about that. If we want a measurement for that, it will be very close to 4 3/4 inches. So we'll just cut that and we'll cut 2 of them. So about 4 3/4. If I make it 4 3/4, then I can trim the other one as well because I'd like that side. So I always look and see whereabouts on my paper. And that, of course, will go in my scrap box. So here are my 2 pockets. This one's going to sit in here, and I want them to go all the way to the bottom. This one's going to sit in here, again, leaving that small gap in there. Just do those edges where I've just cut those. Don't need to worry about the top, because what I want to do with the top is pop that one on like so. So I find that it's easier to glue. If I sit that down in place and see where I want to go to, because if I invariably cut it beforehand, I'll have cut it too short. It never fails. So we'll glue, adhere, and then cut. Make sure I'm going up the right way. So just sticking that on so it becomes a border at the top. I'm not making it any higher. I'm just taking off a section at the top. Now, generally they're about half an inch, I think. Yeah, most of your descriptive strips, barcode strips, whatever you want to call them, are about half an inch wide. So now I can just turn it round the other way, follow my pocket bit down and trim, and then it'll all match up. And I've only got that one bit to edge. That one went that side. Same on the other side. Setting him there, going down that side, just so I've got a marker to go to. Back up, go into my corners so that it actually adheres. Scribble down the middle. Oh, or thumbs. Right. Slide him around till it matches down to that side. Turn it over. Give it a good push. Give it a trim. There's my other side. And I'll just do that cut edge. And I've got that to decorate. So that's now in my scrap box. I'll need that out to actually adhere these on, won't I? Right, so 3 sides, going as close as we can to our edges, making our 2 pockets. Okay, I love it when I come across, just some papers speak to you. They're just, I want to go all the way down to the bottom with that as well, so that it gives me as much room as I possibly can to get something in those pockets. Just sometimes you come across papers and they just speak to you. I love papers. I love papers, whether they're cardstock, whether they're digitals and I've printed them on copy paper or presentation paper or whatever else. There are some times when papers just, they make me go weak at the knees. Love them, love them, love them. Okay, so just along there. Back up that one. Unfortunately, I'm going to lose that little bit there with what I'm doing, but you know, if I didn't put a pocket there, I could have saved that. I could have put a tuck corner one up here, or a corner one down there, and saved all that, but I'm willing to forego that writing. It's a tough decision sometimes, it really is. Right, so that's our little front cover. I'm going to decorate this, but I want to get these sewn in first. Now, to make our little tag pockets, sit that one over there, sit that one to the side. As I said before, we're going to use vellum. What I want to do with my vellum, sheet of vellum, A4 size sheet or standard letter size. This is the length. I've cut a little bit off that. Let's just grab a fresh sheet so I can show you. Let's have a look. Here we go. Right, there's a fresh sheet of vellum. What we're going to do is fold here. And then these will fold in half to make my tag pockets. Truly. So what I want is a 2.5 inch wide pocket for a tag to go in, which means I need 2.5 and 2.5 at the back, which is 5 inches. And then I want 1/4 of an inch as a fold, seam allowance, fold, whatever. So all up, I want 5 1/4 inches by the full length that it is. So if I just sit that in here, 5 1/4 will take me to there. And I want to cut about 5 pieces of this to start with. We'll see how we go. I've already got some cut so that we're not sitting here forever. Now, back to our scoring board. So if we sit this on 5 1/4, woohoo, we're going to make a crease at the 5-inch mark, which gives us our fold. Just when you're doing vellum, just hang on to it so that it doesn't move on you, and then one at 2 1/2. Okay, so that what you've got is a crease there and a crease there. So I've got another one here that is 5 1/4. Sit it right into your corner. If you don't have a scoreboard, that's fine. You can just sit your ruler down at those lines. Use bone folder or a butter knife. That'll work. Little ball embossing stylus, any of those, and just run it down the side of your ruler at the right size. All right, so I've got 2 of those. I've already done some, so I'm just going to set this one aside. We want to crease our, I keep calling it a seam allowance. It is not a seam allowance because that's sewing. Give that a burnish down. The best thing about vellum is that once it's creased, it sits down. But it is also the worst thing about vellum, because if you've creased it in the wrong spot, you've got bucklies of getting it out. I tend to use my double-sided tape on vellum. So I'm just going to run, this is just a 1/4 inch one as well. If you're uncertain about how wide you've got your fold, go a thinner one and just follow that seam along. Trim it off. Double check that none of that is sticky, that's going to stick down there. And you can, as soon as you run your finger down, you'll feel whether it's adhered down to that bit or not. Now I will crease this one over. If I crease that one first, it makes it a little bit hard to get in here properly. So while this is flat, I do that one. Before I've peeled off my backing, I'll fold it over. Double check that it all wants to sit in the right place, which this one does. Now I'll give that a quick burnish down. See how it sits there. All right, what I also want to do is just trim these a little bit so that they've just got the edge off them, so that they stay in a little bit, not right up here to get caught or anything else. Peeling this one off, sitting it down. Sitting it down like so. There you go. Stop talking, Kylie, and just work. All right, like that. So now what I've got is like a cylinder, you know, a thoroughfare thread. I'll just stop talking, Kylie. Tell ya. All right, fold that one over. So do the same on this one, and any of the others that you've done, depending on how many little tags you want in, will depend on how many of these pockets you've done. Remembering you'll get 2 pockets per piece, per one of these. Maybe, I was just going to say, maybe I need coffee, but I'm thinking maybe I've had a bit too much coffee today. Trim that off. Trim that one off. Make sure that's on there properly. Fold this one. Oh, that one's going to sit beautifully. Like so. Pull that off. Now, most A4 size over here, which is what we work on in Australia, is about 11.5 by, which is inches, sorry. And I know we don't work in inches in Australia, but unfortunately I work in inches, and I work in both. When I'm working in paper, I tend to work in inches for my measurements, but I still call it 8.5 A4, which is usually about 8.5, 8.25 by 11.5. So this we want to fold in half again now. So that should be, yes, 8.25. So what I want to do, back with my scoreboard, is I want to score this 8.25, so 4 1/4. So 4 1/inch, Kylie, not 4 1/4. Just like so. Do that with all of them. Now, for me, I'm doing my, where you can see the seam, so you can't really see it on one side, you can see it a little bit on the other side. Doing that on my inside section. And I find vellum folds better that way. Most times with paper you do hills become valleys, valleys become hills, I suppose is the easiest way to say it. With vellum, I find it just works better if my valley stays a valley. So, I need to see that one. Which side am I on? That one. Turn them all around the right way. 4 1/8. Stop talking, otherwise I'm going to do it at 4 1/4. And my last one, again, just double check. So I've done 5 of these. Right. Put that one aside. And now I want to fold these. Right. Like so. Give them a good crease. And there's my little pockets. Now, the vellum is a lot more firmer, stronger, thicker than my initial ones that I did, which was that really thin calligraphy paper. So this will come out a little bit different, but as I said, I was doing it with the calligraphy paper and thought, wonder how that'd look in vellum. So this is what we're doing. We're going to try it in vellum. So this is a trial, and we'll see how we'll go. You'll see it as I said. Well, no, technically not, because I will have uploaded it by then. So I will have seen the horrendous outcome maybe before I upload it. But if you followed me for any length of time now, you'll know that I still upload them. And we all get to see how things happen when I'm not paying attention or trialling something different. Right. So there's my little 3, 4, 5. Let's see how this, missed one. All right. They are slippery, the vellum. They are very slippery. And that, of course, is going to go in there like that. Oh, it's not too thick. It is thicker by all means, but it's not too thick. I would probably, with this one, do thinner weight tags than the ones that I did. What I want to do, put my thumb hole in there, and lately I'm having a run on ovals. So for my first one, I'm just going to sit there and there. I know that it's 2.5, so if I put just a marking here, which is my midway point, let's see if this goes through all 4 layers. Depending on the punch that you've got, will depend on whether it... Oh. Yep. Wow, that's going to build the muscles, Kylie. Very much so. All right, so to make sure that they're all in the same mark, all I've done is made a little pencil mark. With my other one, I actually just set it back in and just kept going over the same one. But, oh, this one is quite strong. I've forgotten just how strong. Tracing paper might work too. Tracing paper is a little bit thinner. And, you know, they're all right. And so that may work. Let's see if we can go this way, just to save some time. But, yeah, tracing paper might work a little bit better as it's a bit thinner. So, yeah, that... Yep, it did. All right. So that one... That one, yeah. Might do this again. And I was actually thinking, when I was finishing off the other one, I was having a think and thought, pretty good. That's not a straight oval. I've got some real little tags. Had them for years, and they're just tiny little ones. I'll go in. Go in, go in, go in. What's stopping you? There we go. And they're just tiny, 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 tiny. Let me have a look. There they are. All right, I've got over here. Oh, excuse me. All right, look at these. Just real little tiny tags, and I don't use them that often. But I was thinking a while ago to make another one of these, but a real tiny one that could just sit in an envelope or sit in a little pocket or something like that in my journal. But with each one of these to fit that size tag. Might have to have a go at that one as well, because I think that would look really, really nice. All right, get rid of all that. Move that one. Don't need my folder anymore. What I do need to do now is... what I'm going to do is, with each one of these seams, go one way, one the other way. So the bottom at the top, just to make it a little bit so that all that weight, thickness, is not just at the top or just at the bottom. Right. So this is going to be sewn in. To do that, I know that this is 2.5, so I want my midpoint. If I just do it with the one, make it a little bit easier, won't it? If I do my midpoint at 1.25, right in that seam, like so, and it should be 1.25. Should be 1.25, close to. I want this one just above that seam, I'm thinking. What do we reckon? So that it's not going through all of that seam. So that's at just a tad under 1. And it's not quite too close to the edge that it's going to want to rip the edge. So they're my little markings. I'll need my brick mat, and I need, just excuse me a moment, I need my awl. So I need to tuck these ones down. Hold them up. Make sure that they're right in there. I'll give them a little go with my ruler, straighten them up. Yeah, the vellum is quite thick, but it was a really good idea at the time. So going down first of all onto that mark, giving that a little bit of a stir so that it gives it a hole that I can actually get through. And same with that one. And then for the last one. Oh, yes, that vellum is quite thick. Right. I can see through all of those. So need that. We now need to sit these in this one. So that it's about even. That looks about even, doesn't it? Everything's by eye. Make sure it's right in there. Now I just go back through these holes again. And I'm thinking maybe because I've got vellum, this is more white. I've got my 2 there, but I'm thinking I might use that white for this one. So we'll very quickly sew this on. I don't need that, just need my needle. That one, that one, that one. Should be able to fit it in. Around about 3. You can always trim off more. I always tend to do about 3 lengths of what it is that I want to sew and a little bit. It always helps with that little bit. And it's at this point we need bigger glasses. Yep. Yeah. Yep. Oh dear. Take it out. And this is the other reason why you need more than 3. Go this side. In case you've had to keep trimming it. Might need some water, I think. Oh no, hang on. Oh. Got it. Straighten it out now, Kylie. That's got it. Right, so starting in the middle. You've all seen this before. So up to the top. Went through that first one, didn't it? And this is where you always have a pair of pliers beside you, just to pull it through. Up to that one, down to that one, and then back through your centre one again, without going through your thread. And hopefully coming out on the other side. Am I through that thread? Right. Like so. Doing him a bit tight. Taking off that needle. Putting it away before I lose it. Back in its drawer. Don't need the pliers. and then just tie it in a double knot. Right over left and left over right. Man, it's not going anywhere. I'm not giving these ones any dangles because there's enough. It's not that sort of book that I want charms or anything on the inside. And if I'm concerned about my knot making, I can always put a little dab of glue in there. At this stage, I'm not concerned about my knot making. Right, give him a good crease. And how's that? So if I pull that other one out again, let's have a look. I'll pull these guys out. Ooh, save some time. Because it's the same size. These are all just ones that we've cut. They will just go in. So you can make it to whatever tag size you want. This tag is just a die. It's a uniquely creative die. That's the company that makes this one. And it's their smaller die. They've got one that's a bit larger. But as I said, you could do this with those tiny little tags and make a real little one. So I'll just set these ones in. Have I missed one? No, see, there you go. I've done extras this time. That's why it's thicker. I've done extras. Didn't make anywhere near as many tags in that one. So what have I got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So there you go. So I've got extras in this one. That's why it's also thicker. Duh. Right, let's do our front cover so that we can see how to do that front cover. What I want, again, is this beautiful paper. I'm debating about either of those. So I'm just going to cut those ones out. Sorry. The noise of that was rather atrocious. At this stage, I'm going to cut them out to that lighter section around there. I can always trim them further down and go from there. But at this stage, that gives me more options and will allow me to trim them further down if need be. So if we just take it back to that bit first, and then we can sit it on the little book and see if we need to trim that any further back. So if I've measured and marked those ones correctly, yep. Okay. And then this one, I'll take them both out, and then I can have a look and see which one I want. I actually want that one in that pocket on the inside. As I said before, they're light enough on the back to allow me to use them as journaling cards. If they had anything else on the back, I could always pop on some coffee dyed paper, tea dyed paper, something like that, just to give it a lighter colouring. While I'm here, I'm going to take that bird out. And these other ones I can trim down, but to get him in. But to start with, it gives you the idea. It means that the video is not going too long. And we can just go from that. Let's have a look. And that one. Right. Set that bit aside. So I'm thinking that that one, if I undo that, do I need to trim any more even off that? A little bit. So let's just go back down to this. Trim just a little bit each side. to make that into a journaling posie. Because see, it's light enough on the back that I could journal on that. Look at that. A little bit at the top, and just at the top. I don't want to lose that writing. Don't really want to make sure I don't lose that wing. Yep, there's my birdie. I could write something down here, etc. So it's in there, quick and easy. Now these ones, I'm not quite certain whether I want that colour or that one. I really love this colour. This deep, deep aubergine colour is just beautiful. That one will match, and I didn't grab my ribbon. Oh, no, I have my ribbon here. I have my ribbon here. What I'm thinking of with this one is just seam binding. So, and let's have a look. Oh, I'm certain. Oh, excuse me. All right, I've got seam binding here in, that's the wrong purple, but that rose might work. So let's have a look. That was rose, wasn't it? A rose. See, that's a nice colour fix to that. It's not too bad even with that one, is it? All right. Want a few other things going on with that one though. It's so easy to put your closure on with this one, but I think I want a couple of little bits more. Now, my closure on the other one, that's actually a stamp, and I've stamped it just on coffee paper. This was already on the paper. So, let's have a look. If I want about that, 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 and I will trim more off, just that I have those in the full runs. Let's have a look. Want something else going on there. Love that. My ribbon will go here with my bow, and I'll work all that out, tie it, and then trim that off to fit. But I desperately want something else going on like down here. So maybe a little bit of book page. Just bear with me and I'll grab the scraps container. Let's have a look. A little bit of Tom Sawyer. Don't want too much, but I just want something else going on there. And Tom tears so well. He truly does. Let's have a look. This is softer. It's purples, it's lace, I like that little bit of lace tucking out of there as well. What do you think? So, a little bit of lace. That's that. It's Big Bertha chiming. This one's going to go up here. This one's going to go in here. So it's dropped down. That one I can adhere on. Right, so first things first. I'm going to put this on so that it's in place. I can get rid of that one now, can't I? Let's get rid of that so I can use the proper mat. This is my centre point. So again, I'm going to use my double-sided tape, but as this one's wider one, what I want is the wider tape, which would be, excuse me, just one moment, I reckon it's sitting back over here. Yep. So this one's a 1/2 inch tape. And I know that these are going to come over to about there. If I use that word for my starting point. Put that on there. Make sure that that's straight. And going over to about there. Right, that's all it is. Making sure that's stuck down beautifully. Putting that one on there. All right, so my ribbon is now held in place. That's given me enough to tie, and now we can start to put this all down. So I want a little bit up here. I'm still thinking that I'd like a little bit of lace. Let's have a look. That down there. I am still thinking a little bit of lace. So I'd like a little bit of lace. Where would I like a little bit of lace? Let's have a look in the lace drawer, shall we? I don't want to go too white though. Too white? I'd need some of that tea-dyed. Where is all my tea-dyed? Let's have a look. Let's have a look. That's a possibility. Oh. No. No. Too much. Too wide. Too thin. Too messy. Need to clean it up. Too thick. Oh, so I need to clean this lace drawer up. Oh, hang on. What's this one? It's more of a crocheted one, and I think it's going to be too thick. So, oh, here we go. This one's been tea-dyed. Because that was a very vivid white before. So this is going to go here. Let's find the end. Just want a little bit going on like so. Like that. What do we reckon? And I want that one down to about there. So I'll trim that. Tuck that one aside because we know we're not using that. Tuck that one aside. Sticky this. Find what I've done with my glue book. Oh, it's right here. All right. I had to get a new one. Going through them too quickly. Oh, this one. Don't you forget how well it comes out after you've been struggling by trying to use the last little bit that was in the initial one. And you forget just how good they are when you start a fresh one. All right, this one's going to come all the way up. Down there. Give that just a little bit of a push. Make sure it's on. This one's going to sit down here. This one's going to go right down. And I'll use some of my 450 for that one. So that this one comes below, this one comes above, and this one sits in here like that. I would like to raise it, but if I raise it, it takes away my options again of being able to put them in belly bands or in a pocket situation. If I knew I was giving it as happy mail, I would probably raise that as well and give it a little bit more dimension. But at this stage, as I'm not quite certain where it's going or in what journal or whatever else, I'm going to leave it flat because it's already got so much bulk to it anyway. So we'll go with this one. Now I want a little bit down there actually on that lace. Just a little bit. And then the rest will go up on that. So that went all the way down. Don't want too much showing. Inside here, that bit on. Oh, so sticky. And the rest of that can go on like so, because that'll be hidden underneath our little flower. Right, I've got glue everywhere down there. Of course I've got glue everywhere. Of course I got glue on my ribbon. All right. This one's going to sit in here half and half, like so. I might go over the rest of that because it's going over lace, it's going over ribbon, it's going over all these different bits and pieces. So we'll stick with the 450 at this stage. I'll give it a fair whack because it is going over quite a few different layers, but I won't take it all the way to the edge so that it hopefully doesn't seep out. Up there, down there, in line with that. Kind of straight. Give it a push. Fingers crossed. Da-da, da-da. Look at that. Oh, I do love that paper. Do love that paper. Right. That'll take a little bit to dry. That will go round like so. And then all we'll do, you'll notice I tie my bows upside down. That way I always get my tails heading in the right direction. It's just the way I do it. So I start with my rabbit ears and then I end up with my tails hanging down. It's just me. Okay. So how's that? So now that one I can trim because I know how much I need. Look at that. So how easy was that? If I move that one away and we pull out the other one. So same sort of thing, all nicely tied. So easy. So you've got your little pocket in here. I'm not going to undo my pretty little bow again now. And each one of these can be decorated, same as with that one. So each one of your little vellum ones you can decorate. You can pop your tags in there. You can fill it as much or as little as you like. I hope you've enjoyed these and realised just how easy they are to do. As I said before, great for Happy Mail, great for in your journals, just a little journal in itself. If you're a scrapbooker, do these a little bit larger, make them with photos, give them as gifts. Christmas is coming up, let's face it. So, how's that? Hope you've enjoyed them, and until next time, happy crafting. Bye.